Do you want my rod? So how many hail rods is too many? Well, this seems like too many. So watch this video to find out how to win some of my hail rods. I know you want my rod. Hey, what's going on? This is Jim. Today, we're gonna be talking about rods. Hail rods. We're also gonna be giving away some rods. I'm gonna be giving away several of my own rods and some donated rods. Now, when you're working in PDR in a retail or a door ding environment, you're gonna have a vastly different tool selection than you will whenever you're working with hail. Your hail set is gonna be much more simplistic and efficient. You don't wanna be fumbling around with a bunch of tools whenever you're trying to burn through 3 or 4 hail cars a day. Now, a lot of these hail tools are gonna be pretty specific to hail, especially things like hail rods. Now, hail rods aren't the craziest things in the world. They're not the fanciest things in the world. Take this, for instance, this is the wood rod. It's basically a long stick of carbon fiber, threaded with 5/16 and a rudimentary handle. Now, while that doesn't seem all that cool, let me tell you this. When you're on hail, you want a good hail rod. It's gonna make you much more efficient, your work's gonna be easier, you're gonna be able to do more cars, and therefore make more money. So yes, having a good hail rod, well, that's gonna be important. So when we talk about hail rods, generally I group hail rods into 3 different categories. You're gonna have your shorter, usually thinner diameter hail rods. You're gonna have your medium-sized hail rod, which are great all-around hail rods, and then you're gonna have the long, extendable type hail rods. So I'm gonna show you a few of each. These are just ones that I have laying around my shop. This isn't necessarily a review, but we are gonna talk about them. The first type of hail rod that we're gonna take a look at are these shorter, smaller diameter rods. This one that I'm holding is the PIMP stick from Drew's Tools. This one's made of carbon fiber, so while it's really light and the carbon fiber keeps it very stiff, because of its small diameter, it is somewhat flexible. It is threaded for 2 different 5/16 tips. This rod would be best used if you're working a roof, let's say, from one side of the car. You won't have to reach out too far if you're working on a car from the side, so that's where something like this comes in pretty handy. The PIMP stick is 46 inches long, very rudimentary T-handle, threaded with 5/16, so you can use those tips that we're gonna talk about later, and is really lightweight. This is a basic example of a short hail rod. Now, I only have this Drew's Tools hail rod, but they have a lot of other ones at their site. Even though some people think Drew Lechtenberg's attitude is a little aggressive, he does put together some awesome PDR tools. His hail rods are no joke. So in the same short, small diameter hail rod category, we're gonna have this Dent Stuff rod. Now, this thing is beautiful. It's got this woven carbon fiber, a bit more of a form, thought out handle, still a place for 2 different 5/16 tips. Ultra lightweight, it doesn't really flex so much. Now, this one is even shorter than the PIMP stick. So this will be really good for areas that are a little bit closer to you. I happen to love this one and I use it for more than just hail. Also, I just happen to have a brand new spare of this Dent Stuff hail rod. Now that's gonna come in a 2 rod set that I'll be giving away. Stay tuned on this video and I'll tell you how. So the next thing that we're gonna cover are some more medium-sized and what I would call everyday hail rods. These guys can do about everything. They can work from the side of the vehicle, and you can also, on let's say an SUV, work from the back too. They won't give you as much reach as let's say a long extendable hail rod will, but they'll be a hell of a lot easier to use than a small diameter one. So starting from very rudimentary and working our way up, let's take a look. So the first hail rod that we're gonna take a look at is very similar to the very first hail rod that I ever had, and that's gonna be this Dentcraft hail rod. Now this one is made of steel, so it's quite heavy. Rudimentary T-handle, a place for 2 different tips. Now this one is 16.5 inches long. It's one of the longest medium-sized hail rods that I have. Now this will probably be your most inexpensive choice. But at the end of the day, as long as it gets the job done, it definitely doesn't suck. I would not use something like this if you are a professional hail guy. This being so heavy is gonna add fatigue to you. And that's why materials like carbon fiber came in vogue. Speaking of that, our next hail rod is very similar, it's very simple, and made of carbon fiber, so it's a bit lighter. This, ladies and gentlemen, is my Wood XL rod. Now this is a carbon fiber rod measuring 61 inches. It's got 2 threads for your 5/16 tips. Since it's made of carbon fiber, it is very light. Since it's a larger diameter, it's also very strong. You will be hard pressed to get any flex out of the wood rod. I believe they do sell a T-handle, but I like this rudimentary rubber handle just fine. This is a pretty good bargain if you're looking to get into and get your first nice hail rod. Moving right along, we're gonna take a look at this Endeavor hail rod. Now, to address the elephant in the room, yeah, that is 80/20 that this is made of. But they also add this tip, which holds 4 different attachments, 4 different tips, 2 of which are gonna angle straight out, One is gonna angle backwards and one's gonna angle forwards. It also comes with this handle, which kind of grew on me after a while. This one's only 50 inches, so it is a bit shorter than the wood rod or the Dentcraft rod that we just took a look at, but it's plenty strong. It's made out of aluminum. The cool thing about the Endeavor rods is because it's made of that square stock 80/20, whenever you're pushing, you can always index what side you're on, and you know that you're pushing perpendicular. Know that you're pushing perpendicular. That's hard to say. So the other cool thing that the Endeavor rod brings to the table is the 4 different tips. And you're gonna see that from here on out on these medium-sized hail rods. So the next hail rod on our list is gonna be from a newcomer whose tools that I find myself using a lot lately, and that's Metal Medic. This is the Commando. It is a really lightweight hail rod. It also features this 4-tip setup. 2 are gonna be perpendicular, 1 is gonna angle forward, and 1 is gonna angle back, which actually is pretty handy whenever you're working on hail. It's got this soft foam rubber handle, and it has added a counterweight, which I really like. On realworldpdr.com, I show you how to make the rod work for you, and this counterweight definitely helps with that. So if you're looking for a step up from the wood rod, maybe looking to get into one of these Metal Medic rods. Next on our list, we're gonna take a look at this Dent Stuff. This is another medium style hail rod, bigger diameter. It's also got this machined area for 4 different tips. Again, 2 perpendicular, 1 forward, 1 back. How many times we gotta go over that? It's made of this woven carbon fiber. It's super lightweight, super strong. This one, ladies and gents, is what I'm using if I'm using a medium style hail rod and I don't wanna mess it up. So the thing about hail rods is you can also use them in things like bedsides. Now, this is far too beautiful for me to want to scratch up the finish. I'll grab one of the other hail rods if I'm going to be doing that. And it just so happens that I've got one of those to give away too. So this is going to be the second in the hail rod pack that one of you are going to win. Stay tuned. I will tell you how at the end of this video. Whoever wins this is going to be pretty lucky also, because these things are badass. It took me forever to get nice hail rods like this. So if you win, I hope you love them. So the last hail rod that we're going to take a look at is not one that I would recommend that you get if you're just, dabbling in hail. If you're a route guy or a retail guy, you probably don't absolutely have to have one of these. But if you're serious about hail, you want to make hail a career, you want to be efficient and make more money, well, this guy right here is for you. Now this is the extendable carbon fiber rod from Dent Stuff. This is the nicest hail rod that I own by far. It goes from about 60 inches to longer than you'll ever need. All you have to do to make that happen is loosen it up, pull it out, tighten it back down, and you're good. It also comes with 4 different places for your tips, 2 perpendicular, 1 forward, 1 backward, like we've talked about, and additionally, you can add attachments that Dent Stuff offers up here. This is also threaded. I have mine equipped with their weighted T-handle. The reason I love that is that acts as a counterbalance. It actually takes some of the work out of doing hail for you and allows the rod to work more for you. But if you're not into T-handles, they have these regrips they sell there, which I think are pretty awesome too. It's made of that woven carbon fiber that looks so damn pretty. So this is gonna be the most versatile hail rod that you can buy. Whenever it's at the shortest length, it's gonna work a lot like those medium style hail rods will. It's gonna provide you unparalleled strength. Also, it's gonna give you more options for your tips and more options for your handle. They have this T-handle, but they also have an angled handle that I can show you later. So the beautiful part about this being extendable is pretty obvious, but I'll tell you anyways. You can work from the back of, let's say, an SUV, and with extending this, you can work damn near to the front. So you have to move less, you can reach more dents, therefore you're gonna be a little bit quicker. Or like a lot quicker. I found that even fully extended, this gives you all the stiffness that you need. And everybody knows you want a stiff rod. So if you're talking about tips whenever you're doing hail, different techs are gonna have different opinions. I'm gonna show you some of the ones that I use and some options that you have. You've got all different kinds of tips. Very basic tips like this one to some newfangled tips like this, kind of looks like a Death Star. A good place to start would be get some extensions like these from Edgy Tools. Something like this from Dead On Dent Tools. This accepts an R4 tip and then a sharper tip. Dead On Dent Tools, Metal Medic, Edgy Tools, and lots of other great companies sell awesome tips. These Death Star looking tips come from VIP. More or less, you're looking for something to start out your dent and another tip to finish your dent. The more you progress, the more you can try things like this swiveling tip meant to get the belly of your bigger dents out. One tip that I feel like everybody must have is the 380 tip from Dead on Dent Tools. This is a really interesting tip in that whenever you push it normally, it pushes like a regular tip, but if you put a little more oomph on it or a little more pressure, you can get some really sharp tip action with that. This one's colored like rose gold. They don't make this. This was an accident and it's mine. You can't have it. So do some research or reach out if you have any questions concerning what tips that you need to be using. You may have noticed in the beginning of this video, I had this tool right here. Well, that's not a hail rod at all. What that is, that's a lightsaber. Oops. If you're still here, I've got to assume it's to win one of the 5 hail rods that we're giving away today. So we've got the PIMP stick, we've got the hail rod from Dentcraft, also we've got the wood rod. On top of that, we've got the 2 hail rod combo set from Dent Stuff. So all you have to do to win, it's really as easy as this. Log on to realworldpdr.com and become a member of PDR Monthly. All new memberships will get you a chance to win one of these rods. Also, if you're already a member of realworldpdr.com, if you refer a new member, not only will they be entered to win, but you'll get an additional entry to win that 2-rod hail combo set from Dent Stuff. That's it. Simple as that. Support me at realworldpdr.com. Become a member of PDR Monthly. This is our first video of 2021. It's a new year. Start your new career with realworldpdr.com. So to reiterate, that's all you have to do to win. Sign up for PDR Monthly at realworldpdr.com and you're automatically entered in for a chance to win one of these hail rods. All members of realworldpdr.com have a chance to win the 2 hail rod combo set, but if you refer another member who signs up for PDR Monthly, you get an additional entry. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Whoever wins that 2-rod combo set is gonna be so lucky. I didn't get hail rods this nice till years, and I mean like 14 years into my career. So if you get them, make sure that you enjoy them. Thank you, Real World PDR family, for your support now and in the future. I will see you on the next video. Make sure you look out for the new content that's being posted at realworldpdr.com in the next couple of days.